The death of a prominent businessman, reportedly after a fall while running from stray dogs, has reignited the discussion on what needs to be done to contain the stray dog menace on Indian streets that has claimed several lives, including that of children. 49-year-old Parag Desai, an executive director with the Wagh Bakri tea group, died of a brain hemorrhage yesterday. A statement from the hospital said it was stated that the patient fell down after being chased by dogs, but apparently there were no dog bite marks on his body. Following the incident, the debate on stronger action against stray dogs has resumed on social media and in the media. Many have cited examples of the Netherlands and the United States and how they have addressed the stray dog problem. Well, joining us now, Ambika Shukla, a trustee at People for Animals, Percival Bilimoria, a senior advocate, will be joining us as well in a few moments, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai and Shaili Singh. Let me go across to you first, Ambika. The numbers are just horrific. If you look at what's been stated in Parliament in numbers, 1.5 crore dog bite cases in India between 2019 and 2022. And these are just the reported numbers. The actual numbers would be several times this. In a situation like this, is it not time to take more meaningful action against stray dogs which pose a threat?
I think, there's a mistake in the numbers. Firstly, the way that bites are calculated. These are taken as, they take the number of vaccines and they correspond the number of vaccines to the number of bites. Whereas actually that is not the case. It is 5 vaccines to 1 bite. So you actually need to divide those figures by 5, firstly. Secondly, if you see the trend is all declining. Let me give you a few figures. Bangalore, the trend has gone down. It's been a 30% decrease in dog numbers. Wherever the ABC program has been properly and effectively and systematically and honestly implemented, you will see very encouraging results. The Bangalore 30% decline in dog numbers between 2019 and 2023 and a corresponding decrease in bites. In Jaipur, 0 rabies where ABC was first introduced and 30% decline in numbers. In Vadodara, 86% ABC coverage and 160% decline in complaint calls. Similarly, Pune, 43% decline in numbers.
I've got the number of dog bite cases
dog bites,
on this sheet of paper.
Yeah, dog bites, I'm saying dog bites divided by 5. Divide that figure by 5.
This is a Parliament statement.
Yeah,
and let me just go through these numbers while you point to cities.
I just explained to you the way they calculate the bite figures. They calculate it as per vaccine. That is what we confirmed in Delhi and other places. They confirm it by the number of vaccines used. And they correspond 1 bite to 1 vaccine, when actually it is 1 bite to 5 vaccines. So, because 1 bite requires 5
but these
vaccines.
Are absolute numbers of dog bite cases. They have nothing to do with vaccines.
No, it is not actual. This is what? No, this is how they are counted. Vishnu, this is how we verify.
Do you mean to say that the numbers presented in Parliament
and from AIMS
and are called number of dog bite cases reported by states
numbers
is wrong?
Correct.
The Parliament statement is wrong.
These are not, it's incorrect. No, I am saying the calculation is wrong because it is calculated, and we verified this from the hospitals and we verified this from how they calculate bite figures. There are no other bite figures. They only take number of vaccines utilized and they correspond that to bites.
So be that as it may, and that is something that we, and the point that you make is something that we will cross-check. But just in terms of the numbers that you're talking about, of numbers coming down, in fact, I can share numbers with you which indicate that this is going up. The state of Tamil Nadu in 2021, according to these numbers, 228,000 cases. That has gone up to 364,000 cases. Maharashtra has gone up. In 2021, it was 21 lakh cases. That has now gone up. It was 210,000 cases. That has now gone up to 390,000 cases. And I could go on and on as I go through this data. In several states, it's actually gone up. It's not gone down. But I just wanted to also bring in
I
just wanted to bring in Dr. Sanjeev Bagai as well.
Wherever you've not implemented the ABC, you will find that the numbers will go up.
I understand the importance of implementing norms.
Will see the
but I'm just trying to say that the overall figures cannot be cherry-picked. We need to understand that we have a crisis in our country, and the numbers...
It's not cherry-picking. It's simply saying where a solution It's not cherry
We'll talk
picking.
about the
Where a
solution on this
has
program.
been
I'm
employed,
identifying the
you will
problem,
find-
and I promise you we will
find,
talk about the
numbers
solution.
go down.
We will talk about the solution on this program. I'm
Good evening,
identifying
Vishnu.
the problem.
Fine.
1.5 crore dog bite cases in India
what's important.
have been reported. And in these statistics, you dispute that, that is fine. The World Health Organization says 18 to 20,000 rabies deaths in India every year. The World Health Organization says India accounts for 36% of the world's rabies deaths. And kids up to the age of 15 account for 30 to 36% of rabies deaths in India. Now, these are fairly staggering numbers by any measure. Dr. Bagai, to you, in your opinion, what sort of threat do you see around you, both as a doctor and as somebody who's looked very closely at this case, at this issue?
Good evening, Vishnu. Good evening, everyone on panel. I think that the numbers are accurate. But I must add that these numbers would probably be multiplied by 5 to 10 times in real world data, because a vast majority of cases of dog bites are really not reported. Vast majority of cases of dog bites, especially in non-metro areas, in smaller villages and things, because of lack of awareness, are not even given medical attention. You are looking at approximately 6,000 dog bites per day in India, which comes to about 1.6, 1.7 crores annually, and that's what's reported. The real issue here is that we are seeing, at least in my own clinical practice, 3 or 4 really bad dog bite cases, mainly in children with mutilating injuries. It's not a good disease to get what we call as rabies. It carries a near 100% fatality. It carries a risk of tetanus, multitude and drug-resistant bacterial infections, because canine of the dogs and the saliva carries a host of infections. Anti-rabies vaccines are sometimes difficult to give to everyone, and we need an immunoglobulin, what we call as anti-serum, which is prohibitively expensive. I have said this multiple times on multiple platforms. Stray dogs in residential colonies where human beings habitate cannot live together. This concept of poor dog, let's feed the dog in the colony, in the basements, in residential areas, is going wrong. Small children can have grievous and life-threatening injuries and mutilating scars throughout the life. Elderly trying to avoid the dog tend to run. They have serious falls, and a recent case landed up with head injury, and the poor gentleman lost his life. We need stricter laws that in residential and colony areas, cooperative societies, you can't just leave food for the dog and then not look after the dog. I'm all for looking after the animals, but you can't partially be a good boy on one hand and leave the dog as a stray dog on the other, because you can put an entire society to risk.
Ambika, let me come to you. Let's just talk about a couple of recent cases. 15 September, in Delhi, a 56-year-old woman suffered a fracture after being chased by dogs. On the 25th of July this year, the Ghaziabad SDM was injured in a stray dog attack. In July this year, a minor was attacked in Ghaziabad brutally by stray dogs. 2 separate incidents of dog attacks in children in March this year in Delhi. Both children reportedly died after the attack by stray dogs. I could go on and on because the numbers and cases just in the last few months is huge. Again, what in your opinion is the solution over here?
Hello.
Ambika.
Are you talking to me?
Yes,
is that a
the
question
solution.
for me? Yeah, okay. Well, in 2023, a set of rules has been notified called the ABC Rules 2023. Now, these rules very specifically set out a solution, and which, wherever it has been properly and honestly implemented, has shown very, very encouraging results. What this program envisages is for dogs to be sterilized, vaccinated, and replaced in their own areas, in territories. Now, this contains the problem very effectively by, firstly, it reduces any kind of aggression during the mating season, because there is no mating season when dogs are sterilized. 2, females do not become protective over puppies. And 3, there is no territorial fighting between dogs, which can lead to heightened excitability, causing bites. So when this program has been effectively implemented in the places I mentioned to you earlier, everywhere, not only have numbers stabilized, and the best thing about this program is that it is time bound. It's a one-time thing. Once you sterilized a dog, he remains sterilized for his whole life or her whole life. So it's a time bound, finite program, and it is WHO recommended, and it has worked wonders in the Netherlands, which is now stray dog free as a result of having implemented this program, along with a very effective adoption program and a complete ban on commercial breeding. So we need to look at a holistic view. To say that dogs should not be in residential societies is a mistake. Dogs have lived with us for centuries. They are domestic animals. And when they live in societies, what happens is people who feed them, through feeding, dogs become firstly operation worthy and secondly become friendly and easy to handle. 90% of the sterilizations that have taken place have been done via feeders, because feeders are able to handle dogs. And with regard to Mr. Desai, I would like to state that Mr. Desai was a very staunch supporter of animal welfare. He was a very generous benefactor towards street dogs. And what happens seems to be, in context, it doesn't seem to have been correctly interpreted, because he was friendly to the dogs. He knows dog behavior. He would hardly likely to have panicked seeing dogs running or barking. Secondly, there were no bite marks on his body. If you are going to believe the interpretation that he was running from street dogs, if he fell, then the natural corollary would be that he would have gotten injured. But he did not. There was not a single bite on his body and no saliva on his clothes.
But Ambika,
So
if he was being chased by dogs, as has
and
been
we are
reported,
seeing,
then the cause of death the actual cause of death may have been the injury he sustained, but what actually caused that? It was dogs chasing
him.
And that's what the medical report also says.
This was
the medical report from the hospital identifies the fact that there seems to have been a rise in such cases.
No.
It's not. Ambika, one second. Let's get the facts straight. Let's get the facts straight in this particular case. There may not have been saliva. There may not have been a dog bite. But the fact is, this man was being chased by a dog.
Allow me to complete, Vishnu.
It is.
Allow me to complete.
But I have to fact check you.
Report
I have read that report, Ambika.
The medical report did not say that they have verified
the medical report has also said, please read the next sentence. They have made a clear reference to the fact that this is an incident which seems to be on the rise. The dog may not have bitten him, but the fact is he was being chased by dogs. That has been widely reported.
They said that they were told that he was being chased by dogs.
And how do you assume that them being told is inaccurate?
He was being chased or not? Because a chowkidar, I'll just tell you why. Because this was reported, the entire premise has been factored on a chowkidar reporting that he was being chased by dogs.
And so we have to we discount that.
He can't make out the difference.
How can we discount that?
A chowkidar,
why not?
Dogs are, I'll tell you why. Because chowkidar naturally see dogs as a threat.
No, I'm sorry, we can't make that generalization. We really can't.
To be removed.
No, we can't make generalizations, Ambika, like that. You can't just say that a chowkidar is given it to that is not valid. Just half a second. Let me go across to Shaili Singh.
It's not.
Shaili, I think a couple of the points that Ambika was actually saying.
They regard dogs as something to be removed.
Ambika, I need to keep the strike rotating over here.
If they see a crowd of dogs, it must be the dogs.
Ambika, it's not a monologue. I have to allow others also. And I want to go across to Shaili Singh.
No, I understand. But I'm saying if you would allow me to
can you bring down Ambika's audio for half a second while we allow the others to come in? Shaili Singh, do you believe that some of the points mentioned over there by Ambika were in fact worth listening to? For example, we do have that ABC plan now. There is an effort to strictly implement this. Do you believe that that is a way forward to ensuring that people are safer?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to put a mark on Ambika's statement. She's actually going one side. She's actually looking the one side of the coin, which says the ABCs or which says all the protection rules with the dog feeders or the dog lovers. There is a very slight, if you see, there is a demarcation in between when we talk about these issues. There is a law. There is a precautions, the safety precautions, the statements which are being given by the authorities. Mm-hmm. There is no law that prohibits the feeding of street animals. Citizens who choose to do are in fact Our constitution allows that. But we also, the dog feeders also need to take care that whenever they are feeding the dogs, it should not be the children play area or the people who walks, or it is the crowded place, or it is the residential or the properties. So these are various things which we can work on. The dog feeders also can take the responsibility of the sterilization. How many dog feeders have taken the responsibility of this sterilization, even in the gated society? So my point is, it's not just that we need to talk on the rising cases or the falling cases. The problem is that the issue is there in our country among ourselves. All the residents, all the local, the mass, the kids, the senior citizen, daily we see one or another cases. So is this really justified? Last time when I was there in this debate, I came across a figure that the rabies, the death causing the rabies, it's only 0.02%. So I just want to ask Ambika ma'am, is 0.2 figure doesn't mean at all for you if it happens with those people who are near and dear of yours, who are your friends, anyone. So it doesn't matter. Point is the larger vision. As she said, the larger vision, the broader vision, we need to talk on the policies. We need to talk about its implementation. Yes. We need to aware the people. It's happening. People who are feeding the dogs, they are not getting hampered. But yes, the people who are keeping a safe distance with the dogs, they are attacking. We can see a lot of news is being spread all over. So we really need to work on these guidelines rather than to put all
Shelley, just hold on. We've got Percival Bilimoria, senior advocate, who's able to join us at this stage. You know, Percival, one of the numbers which have been doing the rounds is that in 2019, these are reports quoting NCRB data, National Crime Records Bureau data, that there were over 4,000 deaths because of dog bites. Now, the absolute numbers are staggering. What in your way is a way forward? You know, you've got residents, for example, on this program saying that we face a real problem of stray dogs in our residential colonies. So how does one address this safely?
So before I answer this question, let me first tell you, why are we doing this show? We are doing this show because there has been a cynical advantage taken by the media. The media is misreporting the facts. There is a fear psychosis that is being whipped up by the media. Let me not spare any words to tell you this. I am very clear in my mind. Look, let's take this incident itself. The incident happened on the 15th. The unfortunate person was in hospital for 7 days. All media reports did not say anything about stray dogs. On the 22nd, there was one news item that mentioned that he was chased by stray dogs. The hospital says that there is no dog saliva, there are no dog marks. Now we are discussing this today in prime time on national TV on the premise that there is a dog involved. This is not the truth. Please get to the bottom of the truth. These are voiceless animals. All media reports say person mauled. Do you know what is the meaning of mauling? Mauling means when there is a wild animal that tears apart the person. But dogs do not maul people. All media reports are predicated by dog menace. Please look at your own headline right now. How do we make India stray free? Why do you want to make India stray free? Please tell me. This is a media whipping up hysteria and hate against dogs who are voiceless animals. See, it happened. There was a university. It is the easiest thing to blame dogs. There was a university when there was a young woman who died in the hostel. The first thing they could say is it was a dog bite. Unfortunately, it was a gunshot wound which cannot be hidden. There are so many incidents which are fake news. Look, I'll tell you something very clearly. We are living in an era where even there are TV anchors who are not real people, but they are created by artificial intelligence.
No, Percival, Percival, just half a second. You know, I do believe, I don't agree with everything you're saying over here. I think shooting the messenger is a pastime that many engage in. I understand your points about some reports perhaps being wrong, but to suggest all of the media is against against dogs, stray animals, etc., is not correct. But let me go across to Dr. Bagai. Dr. Bagai, when you're confronted by this argument by individuals and extremely established individuals like Percival Bilimoria saying these animals have no voice, why is the media targeting them? How would you respond to that?
Okay, so let's just come out of a fantasy land and perhaps not artificial intelligence. Let's deal with real intelligence. The dog bites are real. I don't want people to get confused between domesticated animals and stray dogs. Stray dogs are a threat. In clinical practice, we see many cases every month. Every practitioner would see many cases every month of laceration wounds and avulsion injuries. Indeed, to the more vulnerable parts of the population, which are children and the elderly. Elderlies can fall trying to avoid the dog. You obviously will not see a dog bite when an elderly is trying to run away from a stray dog. There is no concept and no real reason to use the word as fear psychosis. I don't think this is being overhyped.
Why would you want
I'm
to
not
run?
saying even for a second that we should be anti-animals. I think animals have rights. Animals need to be protected. But when you have a host of stray dogs, open halos, open waste dumps, vendors feeding the dogs, residents feeding the dogs, in an area where children are there, elderly are there, yes, the risk is real, the threat is real, the injuries are real, and deaths do occur.
Percival?
Can I please respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I please respond? Look, first of all, the Delhi High Court has issued excellent guidelines on dog feeding. If these guidelines are followed and implemented, there is no danger to any of the animals. Have you not heard the age-old adage? The hand that feeds the dog will never get bitten. Now, let's talk about feeding. Now, if you are, because of the fear that is being spread, if you are going to attack the feeders, and most of these feeders are young women and they are being prosecuted and attacked violently by the RWAs. If you are going to do that, if the dogs are going to be hungry, then any hungry animal will react with some anger, with some kind of hatred. They are going to react just like any hungry human being. So this is the wrong strategy. Please allow feeders. Look, in Chile is completely a stray dog heaven. There, the community looks after stray dogs. There are no dog bites, a very, very minuscule number of dog bites. As regards rabies is concerned, please note that every time somebody, even if there is a vaccinated stray dog, I want to ask the doctor, right, if there is a scratch and you go to the doctor says, look, the protocol is the dog is vaccinated, but still you must get anti-rabies shots. And these are 5 anti-rabies shots. Every time that you go for an anti-rabies shot, you open a vial, it is counted as a separate dog bite. So therefore, one dog that is vaccinated scratches somebody, he goes on the advice of his doctor.
No, so you're suggesting that these dogs may actually have been vaccinated, which is why you shouldn't count them as a dog bite case, simply because the person would not necessarily die. That's what you're saying.
No,
right?
I'm saying that if it is a pet dog which is vaccinated, the protocol is please take an anti-rabies shot. Now, it is not just one
but the
shot.
fact of the matter is a dog bite can cause a lot more than just rabies, no, Percival?
So there are 5.
A dog bite can cause injury apart from just rabies, which is an infection. So when you talk about dog bites, I take your point that some of these dogs may be vaccinated, they may not necessarily result in rabies being caused, but there are serious muscle and other injuries which can take place.
Look, let me tell you, there is no such thing.
But you don't need an anti-rabies injection, na? You don't need an anti-rabies injection.
Are we okay about people being bitten by dogs as long as they don't get rabies?
No.
Exactly, we can't, which is why this number is important.
You said they cause other...
Nobody will be bitten. Please understand.
We are not
You said that you get other infections.
1 minute, it is a serious injury.
Hugely.
I bear a hole in my hand as a result of being bitten for the rest of my life. I happen to love dogs. That's a separate point. But these are injuries you get, and I don't have rabies. You know, people, so we cannot just equate it with getting rabies and not getting rabies, whether a dog is vaccinated or not.
We are talking about the statistics, which is why we brought in rabies.
All right.
The issue is this. No dog by its very nature will bite unless provoked.
Okay.
There is no such
let
thing
us
like a
let us
ferocious
hope
dog.
that there is a humane solution to
There
this.
are
I know
dogs
Dr. Bagai and Shaila wanted to come in. Shelly wanted to come in for more. I do apologize. I'm out of time on this, but I'm glad we could once again raise some of the issues on this program. We do need to take a short break at this stage. More coming up.